Tell us about the childhood.
We were born in a very rural setting in Misaje where life was life and it was Africa. When I talk of life was life and it was Africa, I mean we practice Africa. When they talk of Africa, they talk of black Africa, they talk of suffering, they talk of archaicness, they talk of primitive. We were primitive in those days. Permit me to use that word. And I don't know, seriously, the childhood is really much. I don't know where to start. Talk about school life, religion life. What I don't really know where to start. Let me split it down and go gently, step by step, because a lot of ideas mixing in my head. For the few things I can remember, we used to go to school most often. We didn't have shoes. We have slippers. The slippers that was called in those days 2-rope slippers, the bathing slipper that we use now. You have 1 slippers and maybe a shoe that was bought for Christmas. Maybe that will be all. And the shoe, when it's bought for Christmas, you don't wear it again, because if you wear it, you have problem with your parents. You after Christmas, you wash it and keep it until the day you're authorized to wear it. So we use our slippers to go to school. And you know, when they buy a slippers for you now, you are expected to use it for like 6 months. And in our days, we used to play football, athletics, run, and so on and so forth. If you use the slippers for all those activities, you not do a week. So most often, we take the slippers and put in our school bag. We trek barefooted to school, and and maybe on meeting your friends, you put on the slippers. And if I want to go back to hygiene, I don't know, it's kind of shameful, but let me just say it. We used to beat once in a while. I'm somebody that was brought up by a single parent. My father and my mother, they were not together, so we were brought up just by my father, who was, even though he created much time for us, but as a man, he was most often kind of busy. So bathing was a problem. We beat like once in a week. Like once in a week, you get up in the morning, you get some water, maybe you sprinkle some on your leg and you wipe your face, we rub, and that's that for that day. We go to school and come back. And when I hear children getting up in the morning, you have bread in your bag. After drinking tea, you have money for taxi. In our days, from the house to the school was like 4 kilometers, but we used to trek on foot. We trek on foot over a very long distance, no money for transport. In fact, even if you have money, you don't have a car to carry or a bike, because they were not common in those days. And with no food, if you want to go with food to school, it means that should be your personal initiative, not given to you by your parents. Maybe in the evening, you get some cocoyams or yams you put on a pot, you put on the fire, you sleep in the morning, you get it and put in your bag. We use the bag of salt, the empty bag of salt, and we attach ropes to it, and we use as our school bag. And the bottles that are thrown everywhere now, this bottle of top, having a container like that in those days was a treasure. When you have a container like that, people look at you like somebody that's coming from Europe. You get it, you wash it every day, carry water, you're having drinkable water in the container to school. It means you're a very big person. Even the teachers will always come to your class. Where is Abdullah? Come. Are you having that water today? And they'll beg and drink, because it was not easy. We used to have this white wrap on. People would tie water inside and it was dirty. So when you manage to have this container, you handle it with care, because you'll be a notable in school. Everybody knows that, no, there's one guy maybe in class 4 who is always having water in a good container. And you'll be a star. You'll be a star. It was really funny. And then talking about work. Nowadays, you hear children say, I'm coming back from school, I'm tired, I want to rest, mommy, I want to watch TV. And so in our days, you get up in the morning, you're giving instructions. Your parents are going to the farm. They will say, Abdullah, we're going to the farm after school. School is closing at 3 o'clock, right? At 3:15, you should be with us in the farm. When they close, you are taking speed to come and change your uniform and follow your parents to the farm. And maybe due to stress in school, you may come back and you're having fatigue and so on. They don't give us medicine. You are asked to warm pawpaw leaf if your head is aching and press on the head and follow them to the farm street without even time to rest, without even food to eat, or maybe drugs to take. And if you're having stomach ache, they will say you should wash bitter leaf and drink the water. It was really somehow. And we were brought up in a kind of settlement where our house is, you have a single house, a single room, which is the sleeping room, the parlor, the kitchen, and everything. You enter into the house like this, it's just a big room. You see our bed this way, our parents' bed this way, and the fireside in the middle, and maybe if we have some dishes that are nice, we arrange them in the cupboard somewhere. So just that single room alone is everything, is the house, okay? Like now you say, Junior, go upstairs, go to your room, or it was not like that. We have a single room, everything is done in that same room. That's how my childhood life was, but it was really enjoyable. There were the aspects of it that I miss so much. Talking about hunting, that was my best moment. Going to the forest, chasing animals, coaching your dogs. You now convince your dog, you now excite your dog, post your dog, so you're like, coach, catch up, it just on your own, all those kind of things. I miss such moments. You run at times, you catch a wild animal in your hand, you fight with it before killing it, all those experiences. And talking about feeding nutrition, even though we're in a rural area, but it was wonderful. We used to have balanced diet because we cultivate maize, yams, potatoes, and others, and we used to do hunting and we have meat in the house all the time. And our parents were keeping goats, cattle, we extract milk, and it was really good. And then swimming too. I can't forget that. I'm missing that a lot. You know, swimming now, you just go to a pool, it's measured like this, it's standing water, you dive. It's not really fun. Back there in the village, we have rivers like River Kimbeng, River Kinchin, where you see a big river is passing and there's maybe big stones around. You run like 100 meters far, you run and you dive on the stone, you spin like 5 times before diving in the river. All the fun, swimming with people, playing ball. Not forgetting Christmas firewood. Do you know what's called Christmas firewood? Christmas firewood when it's December, when Christmas is approaching. We had this habit of going to fetch firewood, even those who don't need the firewood, because most often in most compounds there are trees around, and the firewood that we need, we can pick them around and use. But we had this habit that we'll put ourselves together and go far into the forest and fetch firewood together, play in the forest, get the firewood and come back. We'll not even use it. We'll bring it now, we'll go and share it, go and greet elders in the village, we'll give it to them. It was really fun because you can be going to fish firewood, you go in a group like 50 of you to fish firewood, you can imagine.
Wonderful.
Always gisting, jokes, and so on and so forth. We enjoyed it. And the other funny part of it was really... Am I talking too much?
No, it's okay.
There's much to say, but permit me, and if I want to talk, I may take a whole week. I will not finish explaining my childhood.
So you made mention that you were brought up by a single parent.
Mm-hmm, single parent.
And how was your relationship with your dad?
My relationship with my dad was perfect. It was perfect. Even though he's no more, but I miss him so much. My dad was one of his kind. You know, most children that were brought up by a single parent, especially the father, they will complain of negligence and others. But my father was not like that. He was unique. He spent all his time trying to take care of us, to ensure that we grow up the way he wanted us to. Because I remember when we were growing, talking about things that concern school, my father does not joke. When we go to school, maybe the early start of school, he had not paid fees and they're sending people away for fees. We'll be happy that we'll join the other classmates to go and play. But when we reach the house, immediately, even if he's not having money, either he borrows money or since the principal knew him as the civil servant, he will write a letter and put a big signature on that so that my children should not stay out of class even for 1 hour. I will go back to class. The class will be empty. Just people will be angry. And most often, he was somebody who cared so much. Even though he was a man, but most often when we were in school, on coming back, he had gone to the market, get food items that we cook. If we were to do like yam, he would help us and peel it. I even boil it, and my elder sister would just come and do the soup and others. He was a nice person, and seriously, if I must confess, I don't have the effect that others will have for being brought up by a single parent, because he filled the gap and there was nothing lacking. Except for one thing. My father was strict, so strict on us. You know, in some homes when your father is strict, maybe there's some things your mother will now cover or something. Now he was there alone. So he was strict, so we were forced to abide to his rules. And there was no other alternative. Even though we're in the same town with our mom, they had our differences, but the relationship between us and our father and our mom, it was not affected. All of the two of them, they were still caring. They were still there.
So what role did your mother play in your upbringing?
You know, as a mother, she was always there to, even though from a distance, to make sure that we're okay. Like, for example, my father was not so much into fashion. So when he talking about dressings and all that, he did not really care about, okay. So our mother was the one that used to go now get good dresses for us, and so on and so forth.
So she only came in for dressing?
Not for dressing. She always talked to us. At times she'll cook, we'll go and eat. She was there for nutrition, for dressing, for many things, you know, just her being there, you're going to meet her, stay with her, talk with her, and some kind of encouragement, advices, and all that, the intimacy, it meant so much.
So did you ever feel neglected as a child?
Seriously, I've never felt, because I was being respected both by my siblings, my parents, and my friends. And in my childhood days, I was more of a leader everywhere I went to. So I used to feel on top, and I used to feel like the decision maker, and I used to feel like a man. I used to feel like the lion in a jungle. I used to feel like somebody that if it's not there, other people won't have reasons to be there. So I used to feel like somebody that needs to be there and for others. And
were you bullied as a child?
Not actually. I was loved by many. I've been bullied once when I was growing up by one guy, one Czech Ringo, for nothing. I remember in the primary school, he used to take me, he'd go with me in the bush and tie me on a tree and allow me there. Most often, my father would come and take him to the brigade. The next day, he would do the same thing over and over for no reason, because I don't remember having a problem with him. It was just for no reason. I don't know why. That's the only person that have bullied me in my childhood days.
So can you recall any childhood fantasies, dreams you had, maybe how ambitious were you?
Yes, presently, for now, I'm a teacher by profession, but that was not my dream. I had the dream of becoming a medical doctor, as most science students who dream. But I was ignorant of many things. Can you imagine that I was dreaming of becoming a medical doctor, but I've never written entrance into any medical school? Can you imagine that? When I was growing up, I was not exposed. They used to say, when you do science, you become a medical doctor. I'm now concentrated in my science classes. I was good in chemistry, good in biology, good in physics, good in math. Until there's one appellation, people call me doctor. It started since in Form 3A. I used to have 22 on 20 in biology tests. Can you imagine? They will give a test on 20, I have 22, because I'll participate in class until the teacher will say you have +2 mark. And in the exam, I'll have 20 on 20. The teacher will get confused, don't know where to put the marks. He'll come and say that this guy will be a doctor. I had the skills, I had the potentials, but All I know is that when you do science, you become a doctor. At my advanced level, I was still not exposed. And I did not know that you're supposed to write maybe entrance into QC Yaoundé, FHS Bamenda, or something to become a medical doctor. I went now that since you do science, you become a medical doctor. I went to the faculty of science. I applied for biochemistry that as I'm doing science along the line, I'll become a doctor. It's only after the first year that I was supposed to go through a medical school. I gave up. I never wrote again.
So you were not exposed?
That I was not exposed. That's how I ruined my dream of becoming a medical doctor because I had the passion. But after my first year in the faculty of science, the mistake killed the dream and I kept it aside.
Do you like being a teacher?
I enjoy it so much. I enjoy it so much. I've been teaching even before going for formal training to the teacher training college in Bambili. I've been a private teacher for some years in Bamenda. I've been teaching for like 8 years now because I started teaching since 2013 in GPHS Misaje. Teaching, I enjoy teaching so much, especially when I'm teaching my junior classes and my more senior classes, like when I'm teaching the Form 1 students and I'm chatting with them. I enjoy it so much. And when I'm teaching my upper 6 students and they're trying to challenge me in class, I enjoy it so much. In fact, I like teaching because even though it's a bit stressful, but you only notice you're tired when you come back home because it's exciting. In class, you are exchanging words, you're chatting. You know, teaching now, CBA, okay, you talk with your students, you can exhaust all the energy in you without noticing because they come out opinions from year, bringing ideas and you're reasoning it. You just keep on enjoying it until maybe you can even walk out yourself without knowing.
Do you have any childhood regrets?
Except for the one that I said after my advanced level, I was not exposed. I didn't pursue my childhood dreams of going to a medical school. I think none. That's the only regret I have, that once in a while, when I think of it, it disturbs me.
So don't you think that not being exposed was because you grew up in the village?
That was the major reason. That was the major reason. Even though I did my advanced level in town, in Bamenda, in PCHS Mancon, but I was still not exposed to information because I was too calm. I was not socializing. I was all to myself and my book, and just the book that I needed at that time because I was not reading newspapers, magazines, and others. I was reading my subjects, concentrating to pass the biology, the chemistry, the physics, and the others, not knowing that there is more to life than just this.
So if you were to go back in time to change something from your upbringing, what would you change?
I'll prepare hard and go to a medical school.
When you were growing up, did you believe in myths and superstition?
Yes. Every child will do. And there are many things I used to think were real. For example, I used to think that the juju, the masquerades, right, that they were animals that were gotten from the forest. I didn't know they were human beings. And I used to think that I could become a president. I used to think that I could become a president one day. It's just an impossibility. And many others.
But being a president is not that difficult.
Normally, that's what people will say. That's what people will say. I cannot imagine being born in Cameroon. Before I was born, we had a president. I'm grown up until I'm having a child. We still have the same president, and you're saying it's possible for me to become a president. A president. If a single person can rule for close to 40 years.
So, what are the lessons you learned from your childhood that are impacting your life today, both negatively and positively?
Many. There are many things I learned from my childhood. Seriously, if I must confess, I'm not as calm or as good as I was in my childhood days. But the roughness that I have now in me, then jackery, as we call it, and the other of lifestyle. I practice them out of my hometown. So when I go back to the village most often, due to the lifestyle that I lived many years behind when I was growing up, I get so much respect from my neighbors in the quarter, people who knew me, because I live, should I say, I was calm, respectful, obedient, and God-fearing. So they think I'm still that person. So they give me the respect. I enjoy it. I wish I could maintain that lifestyle everywhere I go to so that I'll get that same respect. Dignity is not sold in the market, and it is something that is very important.
So what are the negative aspects from your childhood that are affecting you now?
I was not bold enough. I could not speak publicly. And I'm regretting it because back there in my secondary school days, there are many things I did not do that I'm regretting, and I didn't do them because it's not because I was not able, it's because I was shy, I was not bold enough. That's the only thing I really regret.
So let's talk about your first times.
I'm there.
So when was the first time you kissed?
Kiss as in kissed. Kiss as in you hug your, kissing your mother, as in kissing a lover. Hey, that was when I was in Form 3. Yes.
How old were you?
I was like 14, I think. You know, back there we used to watch love films every Sunday, and we'll try to practice it. We'll be trying to see, oh, my love is Ramsey Noah, and who now go doing small things in school. That this is my love, and I'll be writing letters, exchanging, and go behind the class. I will kiss, run back, and say, hey, I've seen it, all those kind of things.
So when was the first time you stole something?
Stole something, as in stealing. Stealing. I cannot remember stealing. The kind of stealing that I can remember was taking. It can be called taking, not stealing, because I can remember. Seriously, I didn't have the opportunity to steal because I was not extravagant, and my parents used to give me all. I remember my father was still there. Everything I asked, he would not even ask me, what do you want to do with it? Like I can go and say, Daddy, please, I need 10,000. He will not ask what you want to do with 10,000, you just give it. So I had no reason to steal, so I don't remember stealing.
So but you had reasons to take?
You had reasons to take, like you now come, maybe you want to come and ask something, he will not be there. You now take it. You now come and say, who took the money? I say, I came here and I took it. You now shout, I don't take it without asking. And after I will say, I'm sorry, and it'll be over.
That can be stealing.
I call it taking, even though I took without the idea of the owner.
So when was the first time you had sex?
That was when I was in Form 4. I remember when I was in Form 4, I had sex for my first time. It was a wonderful experience. It's not like I wanted to do that, okay? The way it happened the first time, it was by mistake. I didn't plan to. It was like, you just come, you sit here, you've never had sex, and you're not planning to have sex, and the lady just comes, stomps on you, and fucks you, and that's how it happened. And I was scared because when I was growing up, there was this local aid control committee members who used to come around, say HIV can be transmitted through sex. They used to emphasize only about sex. They did not emphasize about transfusion, sharp objects, and others. So I thought when you have sex without a condom, automatically you are HIV positive. So after after the experience, because it happened, it just happened. After the experience, I was like, ooh, so this is how I've become positive of HIV. I was now like, oh, I'm finished. And the next day, I was worried. I was worried for like 3 days and I was scared to say it. And after like 3 days, I opened up to my elder brother and I told him that at this like this, I'm HIV positive. He asked why. I say I slept with a girl without using condom. When he now explained to me that no, that's not how it works. It depends if the girl is HIV positive or not, and he asked and I explained to him all how it happened, and we went for the test and discovered there was no HIV. That's how I got initiated. That's how I got initiated in the world of sex. And even though after I was scared, but I enjoyed it, it was sweet. It's not taking long here. It was just for like, was it up to a minute, some few seconds, and I was like, ah.
Do you regret growing up in the village?
No, I don't regret growing up in the village because I think all the skills, the potentials, the experiences that those who were brought up in town have, I now have all, because for the time that I've been in town, I've learned everything that happens in town. But those who were brought up in town, I don't think they'll ever have the opportunity to go back and live in the village to get all the experiences that we had back then. So I'm at a balance already, but it will take, I don't know if they'll ever come to that balance. So it was an opportunity for me because I can survive anywhere at any time.
So if you're going to have a family, where will you decide to raise your children and why?
Talking about the modern world today and the new several opportunities that are found in the city, my children will be brought up in the city. I think. Because I'm thinking that, because I'm planning to get married to like 5 wives. Because when I go for my PhD program in London, I'm planning to get a wife there because I'm planning that my first wife should be a white. I will get married to a white there and I'll start a family there. And when I come back, maybe I've been in Yaoundé and the lifestyle interests me too. I'm planning to get married to a Yaoundé woman and maybe start another family there. And here in Bamenda, and maybe 2 wives in the village.
Okay. So what advice do you have to parents about child upbringing?
Yes. Some parents always say, what a child will grow up to be, he will grow up to be, no matter how strict or how loose you allow the child. For me, I think parents should follow up their children, okay? They should follow up their children and try to bring up the children the way they want. They should put in that effort. If the child happens to go wayward, then we say it was destined to be so. But let's not just believe in destiny all in all. Okay, we should also put efforts to ensure that we bring up our children the way we want them to be. Because I really wonder what I would have been today if I didn't have a father that was that caring and was that good. Because I know most of the things that I've achieved today is thanks to him, because I was at times reluctant and he was the one pushing me to like go.